Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Clarice and I hope you've been well. I've been so busy, honestly. This year of med school is not a joke. I feel already overwhelmed and we're not even anywhere, in half the year or anything like that. So it's a lot. It's not a joke. Like I'm feeling it. But hopefully you guys are, taking care of yourselves. And I just wanted to come back here, and in today's video, I thought we'd talk about something important. Like, in my journey as a doctor, hopefully one day, I'll provide very, specialized and knowledgeable service to my patients. But along the journey, I'm learning a few things, and I feel like I shouldn't wait, for the next 4 years to finish my degree in order to start kind of like, sharing this kind of information. So in today's video, the thing I wanted to talk about that, we recently learned this in our lectures and everything, and they've talked to us about it, is the usage of antibiotics. So all of us, I believe, we know what antibiotics do. So if you have an infection, you go to your doctor, and the majority of time they prescribe you antibiotics. Here in the UK, it's quite controlled. It's not something that you can just, go and get over the counter. It's, I do believe it's controlled, although they're trying to control antibiotic prescription even more because of what I'm going to talk to you about. But there are other parts of the world that I've been to whereby it's easy to access antibiotics, even if you don't have an infection, or you're anticipating an infection, or you're suspecting an infection. Somebody can just go and get you some antibiotics somewhere. So I just wanted to talk to you about it because obviously it's come to to discovery, or to with research, it's showing that the more we are using antibiotics, the more these bacteria, so these little microbes that cause us infections, are becoming, let's say, immune to them. So they're resisting these antibiotics. And, so these bacteria have been here, they have existed for billions years away. But during that time, they've survived because they know how to kind of like, develop some techniques to block the antibiotics, if I can put it in a simpler way. So they develop weapons of mass destruction. So when you're taking in those antibiotics, they learn, oh, okay, this is what's going to happen, so we have to prepare, and they block all the targets that you kind of throwing at them. And what has been discovered is that the more you're using them, the more they develop even more. So many of them are becoming resistant to them. So I guess it's not a problem because, things change and other things get developed, and, we learn new ways to beat them. No issue there, is there? But we're wrong, because there hasn't been any new developments for new antibiotics or new improved antibiotics to combat these resistant microorganisms. So meaning that we are running out of options. Whatever that has been produced all these years are actually being, resistant to. So what are we going to do? So that's where you need to kind of like start thinking about how we can all kind of like contribute to this, because it's going to be a big problem. It's a global problem. I'm sure yourself or myself, I'm surrounded by people even myself, who go through infections, and we feel so much better when our doctors prescribe us antibiotics. We feel like, okay, that's the right thing to do. And sometimes it is the right thing to do, because you can die from an infection, you can get sepsis. So there's so many different cases where it is rightfully so to write you antibiotics. But there are other cases that we might contribute to that might not need these medications. So I'm guessing that if we really think about it, we need to do our part. So we need to try our best to obviously kind of like protect ourselves from these infections, whether it's like through antiseptic techniques, washing our hands and eating well-cooked foods, and making sure you drink well sanitized water. Obviously, I do believe that there are so many countries, so many places that do not have this privilege, but maybe you can try to boil the water. We used to boil the water like back in the days to make sure that we can actually drink it. So it's just a few little things that you can do, you can implement to make sure that you prevent that infection from taking place in the first place. So I guess what I'm trying to say in simpler ways is that you have to do your part. And also, if a time comes and you feel like you have an infection and your doctor doesn't prescribe you antibiotic necessarily, don't be upset. I hope they will be able to kind of like explain it to you, but sometimes it might not be the right thing to do for you, especially if your body is becoming very, very, very resistant to all these medications. And try to not use or, get hold of them, quite relentlessly, and just, try to use them when you can maybe recover without using them. So always seek medical help, but try your best to, find ways to protect yourself from these infections. Like for women, urinary tract infection is very prominent. And, we can try to, maybe not sit on the toilets, public toilets. Like you can pick up some infectious diseases that you just don't know. Try to hydrate yourself. Try to drink loads of water so that, those little monsters can be flushed out. And it's just small little things that we can do, and eventually I will hopefully share with you more ways to do this realistically, because obviously it's easier to say, but is it doable? Like in normal simpler life, is it doable? So I will hopefully come up with more techniques that can help you in due future. I don't know when. But I just wanted to get this word out there that we need to do more, because eventually this is one of the biggest killers that will affect our generation or our children's generations, because we are running out of options. And once we are running out of options, all of us are going to get infected, and no antibiotic is going to be curing us. So we need to start thinking about how we can help. And the simpler way to do it is avoid causing yourself harm in a way that, like I said, just wash your hands. Don't sit on, toilets all willy-nilly. Drink your water. Just take care of your bodies. Excuse me. Take care of your bodies the best way you know how. And hopefully we can come up with better medications, but it doesn't seem that way, because apparently antibiotics, the development of antibiotics is not very profitable. Excuse me. So there is not a lot of financial investors in antibiotics, because first of all, it takes a while to develop, and obviously with this kind of like messages, trying to prevent overusage of the medication. For investors, that's not so rosy for their money to grow. They want something that, obviously will be used all the time, and so that they can kind of like profit enough from that usage. But if we're trying to minimize the usage, then there is no reason to invest in the development of new antibiotics. It's really sad, but that's the truth. And another thing is that so many things are happening, like the meat that we eat, all these animals, sometimes they're treated by antibiotics and then we ingest them, and then obviously ourselves we get exposed to these antibiotics. So it's a whole saga of policies that haven't been implemented, and it's sad, but like I say, you have to do your own part. You have to choose what's going to be good for you in a way that do not expose yourself to infections if you can prevent them. And when you do get them but you don't need that antibiotic, don't insist on taking them, because they might do harm more than good. And just protect your children, teach them about this, because it's just gonna be a bombshell apparently by 2050 if nothing is done. It's as bad as global warming, so you can see how this is serious. Okay, so I'll probably talk about this a little bit more at a particular stage, but I just wanted to let you know, like right now, like with the little information that I know, obviously, just take care of yourselves. Let's try to protect our bodies the best way we can, and hopefully God will help us as well. Okay, hope that was useful. Please share. Actually, I hope you do share this, because everybody's affected. So please do share with your loved ones, just so you can let them know about this. Share, and if you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section, and subscribe for more useful information like this in the future. And I will see you next week. And look after yourselves, and I wish you well. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye.